Jump, jump.
We be jam on.
We got it? We starting?
Yeah.
We are.
You got it?
I'm waiting for the clap. Wait. I don't want to wait for the clap.
No.
I just gave you the
Just
clap.
An
just
actual
gave you the
clap.
clap.
Wait a minute.
The actual
Wait.
clap. Not.
Let me
You
rephrase
can get a cream for that.
It
when I
burns
say I
my
gave
pee.
you the clap, I mean, never mind. Just go.
All right.
Go.
And
I did. I clapped. Go. Get the fuck going.
I'm trying
Get
to.
the
You're
fuck-
talking.
He was starting.
God damn.
Pause. Give him time to calm down. All right.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Midnight Movie Distillery. I'm one of your hosts, Logan Lynch.
I'm another one of your hosts, Warwick Price.
And I'm Lon Black. And Warwick, what's the movie we're watching today?
Today, we are watching the movie The Hunt from 2020, not to be confused with the one that came out, I think, about 2 or 3 years earlier, also called The Hunt, with
Max
Middleton, the guy who was in Hannibal.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I know he was in Casino Royale, but
Oh,
he will
yes.
always be Hannibal.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it was a longer.
You're right.
A total side note on that.
Longer run.
His Hannibal took me probably about 2 or 3 episodes to actually understand what the hell he was saying, but then after that, I was
Really?
fine. So
I loved
we
Hannibal.
should do,
Alright.
we should do reviews on TV,
TV
shows
shows?
too while we're at it.
Yes.
Maybe we'll make those short form.
Anyway.
Everybody, let us know.
Anyway, so we're going to be talking about the movie The Hunt. But before we talk about the movie, we talk about other things. What do we talk about, Lon?
So, of course, we pair a bourbon, whiskey, liquor, whatever,
Alcoholic beverage.
with the movie. And this one actually worked out pretty well, if I do say so myself. The running theme, the underlying theme through this movie, do you remember what this movie was sort of themed around?
As in...
Like the original.
certain book?
The game.
Oh, Animal Farm.
Animal Farm,
Mm-hmm.
right? And, of course,
George Orwell.
George Orwell and remember the animal that was in the box at the first?
It was a little
The
pig.
pig. It was a
Yeah.
pig. She
Did
called
you get
it
a
Orwell.
bacon bourbon?
What? What?
A bacon bourbon? Bourbon.
I thought you said a bacon burger.
Well, that too.
I'm going to continue before Logan hurts himself.
All right.
We've got WhistlePig,
WhistlePig.
Oh,
but
wow.
WhistlePig Farmstock
Holy
Rye.
shit.
So we're
Okay.
going
We
full
should.
on
I should have
into
seen
the
that
farm
coming.
pig
Pun intended.
realm. You guys should all know this one.
Yeah.
I
Now,
would
did
think
we
you guys
have
know
this
this
at
one.
our little show?
We didn't have this one.
I was
We
gonna say
didn't-
I remember we had WhistlePig, but it was
yes, but it was
not
the straight
Farmstock.
WhistlePig, not the Farmstock Rye. And the problem was there was a lot. We had to run through that event,
Yeah.
so we didn't get a lot of these things. But this one is the Farmstock Rye. So I guess to talk a little bit about this one, it is a bottled in bond, so we know what that means.
Golden Bomb.
Small batch,
Is it Bond?
and it
Bottled
is
Bond.
I believe it is a 6-year.
Maximus.
So this is a 6-year, but it's a rye. It's not a bourbon. It's a 6-year.
Well, what makes
yeah,
it a
we gotta-
farm stock? I'm a little confused by that.
Okay, the farm stock is more a
Cleaning my glass from last week.
farm to table kind
Oh,
of.
that's right, from last week.
Here, I'll just.
I'm wearing the same T-shirt from last week.
So
it
am
doesn't say it on the back there.
But it's our MMD shirt while he's trying to read over there.
No, it didn't say it on the bottle. I was kind of hoping it would just say it on the bottle there. But as I understand it, this is the stock. This is straight from the farm grain.
Okay.
If that makes any
So
sense.
it's not like processed or anything, or is it processed at the farm and then taken directly from there?
When you say
It's
processed,
amazing,
what
like,
do you
well,
mean processed?
Just processed meaning like, so somebody went in, pulled the grains
and
in,
processed it.
and yes, and then did their usual process of sending it through. It didn't get like packaged and shipped to them. They went there specifically and took their.
Correct. My understanding is it was made on the farm next to the wheat fields or
Okay.
next to the rye fields.
Okay.
Is my understanding. I
Oh,
could be
so
wrong
even
about
closer.
that.
So that's
but
like-
I think that's another reason they call
So
it
farm to bottle, if you will.
Ooh, that was
Oh.
kind of a subtly one.
Yeah,
Let me
come on,
try
let's-
that again.
There you
There you
go.
go.
I gotta angle it when I.
Whistle
Okay,
pigs, no,
so
no,
now
let
we
the-
are going to a rye whiskey. So we're jumping from a sweetened bourbon
Oh, hang on.
to a rye whiskey.
Okay.
In fact, let me see if I can pull up any more information for you on the.
Not a lot of smell to it.
Do you get cinnamon? Did you get cinnamon?
No, I don't think I did.
Really?
I can see why you're saying that.
Okay.
I can see why you're saying cinnamon because
Oh,
the
you know-
spice of the rye.
Now that I say that, I'm hoping that doesn't
I
change.
think that's what it is.
I don't get cinnamon,
There's some,
but I get like I get like potpourri, you know, something.
it's like a Swedish smell.
Swedish.
Not, yes.
Swedish.
Yeah.
As in
Yeah.
lobby dobby dobby, all over the world. I'm playing tennis.
So this is, by the way, also, I don't know if you noticed on the back, this is an 86 proof.
Okay.
So it's pretty,
Light.
It's potent.
yeah, it's standard. Yeah, it's pretty relatively
Because
standard.
I think the other one from last week was 88.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Did you mess up?
it's not bottled in bond.
Oh.
I know, in barn. I said that.
Bottled in, it's not bottled in bond.
No, bottled in barn is what I
Barn?
said.
Barn. He's yeah.
Barn.
Oh,
We found another-
barn.
we found another word.
Yes,
Barn.
bottled in
There
barn.
we go.
That's correct. They were doing it bottled in barn right here on the WhistlePig Farm. From our core farm stock expression, we blend our own whiskey with our older rye, well balanced, easy drinking, blah blah blah.
So this is not a blend.
No,
Okay.
it is 100% WhistlePig whiskey. It does say bottled in bond
Actually,
and so much more. So it is bottled in bond and in the barn.
Yeah, I mean it's a play on. The
It
fact
is a
that it's
play on
farm
words,
stock
but
and-
that's hilarious. I didn't even
Is
notice
it?
that. So this is what we're talking about here. We've got. Well, I don't want to see their tasting notes because that's what I want to do. But WhistlePig on its own, WhistlePig is a very sought after rye. It's a very good rye. It's a very high quality rye. Let's shut up and start drinking.
I like it.
I like the way you think.
Now this is a rye, so there's going to be a little more spice to it. There's going to be a little bit more heft
Zing,
to
if
it,
you
I
will.
think.
So where does the name WhistlePig come from? Do we know?
You're asking me questions I don't know the answer
All right.
to.
Well, maybe I'll look that
I think
up
it's
while you.
because they had a pig
And they were
that
whistling.
whistled.
Sweet.
I don't think that's at all.
No?
I don't think that's.
I-
I'll just hold this glass behind Warwick's head for a
Oh,
while.
that's
There
fine.
you go. Okay.
I could have just made that up.
I didn't pass the bottom around to smell, did I? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Let's do a camera switch there. You got it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, not that one. That
Oh
one.
my goodness,
There
this
you
is
go.
this is interesting. So now,
Whistle pig. All right.
if you look at the cover, what the front of the bottle is that an actual pig on there?
Yes.
Well,
at
it's
the
a
top.
picture of a pig, not an actual.
So
A very
yeah.
happy pig.
I just saw on the internet, because everything you read on the internet is true. A whistle pig is another name for a groundhog or woodchuck.
I don't think that's what they were going for.
No, I think that's just
Because there's an actual.
because otherwise they'd have
pig.
a picture of a woodchuck.
Right, not a proper pig.
And how many chucks would a woodchuck chuck if a
Woodchuck could chuck wood.
Woodchuck.
You fucked it up.
Woodchuck.
Wow,
woodchuck
you
wood?
stumbled.
Could woodchuck?
It's called English. Learn it.
I don't know.
Okay.
that.
When the animal gets
All right.
frightened, they make a high-pitched whistle to warn the rest of the colony.
But that's not
of
this.
danger.
No.
There's
This
got to
is-
be. You know what? I'm.
This
gonna
is
look it up.
coming from where Whistle Pig got its name.
You know what we could do is look it up on.
That's what I'm
you know,
doing right now.
WhistlePig's website. You're on WhistlePig's
I
website.
am on
Wikipedia.
dramdevotees.com, whatever the hell that is.
Well, that's not WhistlePig, is it?
They're talking about the name of the article is where Whistle Pig got its name.
So I guess the point is, at the end of the day, even though that may in fact well be that when WhistlePig got its name, they still ultimately went with a picture of a very happy-looking pig. Looks very well-to-do. He's
Oh
probably,
wait,
just,
okay, I found it.
probably just had a good meal.
He was on a podcast. The
Whistle?
Dave
Or the pig?
Pickerel. He went on to tell a story of how Raj Bhakta, the founder of the brand, was hiking in Vale when a Frenchman on a bicycle careened down the mountain toward him. The man stopped and asked, rather oddly and in a comically high-pitched voice, "Could it be a whistle pig?" Raj answered, "A what? I don't know what you are talking about. You know, a whistle pig." The man made some strange noises into his hand in an effort to be more clear, but when he realized that Raj was not understanding, proceeded to get back onto his bike and sped away. So
There's
you go.
none of that on their website.
Well, that's because.
That's-
But
Sounds like someone was drinking before.
I will tell you what is on their website.
No.
So on this farm that they do WhistlePig, they do have pigs. And I'm going to read through this just lightly, knowing the movie that we're doing here, but they have mascot pigs, Mortimer, Mauve, and there's Mortimer Jr., and one a pig named Orwell.
Coincidence?
They have
I think-
a pig named
Shit.
Orwell
What did you do?
I
from
didn't spill. I didn't.
the
I swear.
farm. And that it just
Let's
leads
just move that.
perfectly into our movie. But before we do that, let's taste this.
It's probably going to eat right through the plastic.
Did you spill again?
He did.
Let me go get something.
What
You take your sip.
the fuck? That's like, I think that's like 2 out of 5 episodes.
Pull it out. Huh? Is it not working?
Logan Randy, the automatic hand towel dispenser.
And he waved his hand
And he
in front of
couldn't
it,
do
and it didn't operate properly.
All right.
Did you just say it'll eat through the table?
I think it will eat through the table.
It probably will. All right, let's clean that up. You
Okay,
did not
now-
see that. We are live.
This is a big difference, by the way, from the last
need to, like,
whiskey.
bring
So
this in a
it's
That
a
is
rye.
an understatement.
So we have to give it a few sips to kind of
This is
cleanse the
definitely going
palate.
to take a couple of sips. Make sure that's okay. Jesus Christ! I'm assuming this is probably expensive, because that's what usually happens. The expensive ones I spill.
You've noticed that. I've noticed that.
It's so frustrating.
Okay. So already it's a lot lighter
That was my glass.
than the other one. Should we rate it first?
I think we should.
rate
I
it.
think
I'm
we should
sorry.
rate it
Okay.
before we start really
Yes.
talking about it.
Before I spill anymore,
Do you want to like suck the tablecloth?
I might need to. I'll lick it later.
That's
It's
what
probably
You
a
still got
mixture.
anything in your glass?
I still have some. It was only a little bit, but it looked like a lot more than actually.
it's
was.
okay.
Okay, this will be sip number 2. I got one out of it.
Yeah, I'm on sip 3 already.
Okay. All right. Let's get a rating.
I'm having a single number.
Again with the
I think
single
I am a
number.
single number as
You
well.
were the one who invented the 2-number system.
I know.
The deuce.
you were the one who had the first deuce.
I do like the deuce, but today for this one, I'm just going for a single number.
Okay. This is gonna
Mix it up a little.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna stick with this.
By the way, I've never heard of a bay ringer.
Behringer.
Wait.
It's bay ringer.
Behringer.
I
Behringer.
still never heard of Barringer either.
All right.
No,
You ready?
Anyway,
Yes.
sorry.
1, 2, 3. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, Logan, I can't see your number. There's a line. there.
Logan gave it a 3.
Oh, Warwick. A
Warwick
solid
gave it a 2, a solid 2.
I gave it a 3.4.
So you did give it a solid deuce.
Wow.
All right.
Wow, I did.
So I like this just about as much as the last one, but for completely different reasons. But Warwick, you're not into the rye thing, or what? I think you need like 4 or 5 more sips. and then
I've
go
had a few
collect it.
mini sips. It doesn't. Number one, I don't like the lack of any smell to it. I get like
You don't get a good nose, huh?
I get no nose of it
It's
I
pretty
got
light.
plenty
It's pretty
in
light.
there. Over here.
at all. And
Yeah, there is not much to it.
I'm not particularly digging the flavor, and so all I really get out of it is the burn.
Really, you get no flavor out of that?
Not no flavor. I'm just
It's a lighter profile for sure.
I'm just not necessarily maybe digging it.
So
Wow.
I do have a question. You may be able to answer this, Lon. Is there a certain amount that you should be sipping per se? Because if you take too much in, I could see this hitting you more pungently than if you were to take just kind of a smaller sip. Is there a set amount, like when, I don't know if you know tasters, when they're testing something, do they say, okay, well, I'm just like dipping my tongue in it type of thing? Or is it...
That's what she said.
Well, oh wow. There
And she liked it.
there are people who do tastings that literally just wash it around their mouth and spit it out.
But how much? is
Just
my
to
question.
coat, just enough to coat their mouth.
Okay. So it's like
Just the
maybe
tip.
like what
But-
I have left in here.
I think to that point, there's also people who need to take a shot, which I totally disagree with, to get a good flavor taste of it, which I can't understand how that even works. Point being, there is no right or wrong answer. I think people do it different ways
Per
to
person.
get a
Right.
different profile out of it. But I do think if you do different things to it, if you take a smaller sip, you cut down on the burn and you get more of the flavor. If you roll it around in your mouth, you get more of the flavor. But you could also get more burn. If you swallow it right away, you're going to lose a lot of the flavor. It's not going to taste like much of anything. So I think it's just learning the fact that if you take it in and you swish it around, you'll get more flavor, and that's the way you should do it.
Okay.
And if you prefer to just take a sip and spit it out, great. Then if that's the way you do it, great.
So I'm still getting it's still on my tongue since my last.
So it's sticking with you. It's
You
pretty
should
oily.
swallow that.
But it's not. But that's where it's not upsetting. It's not like, oh, why is this still in there? It's more of like it's just kind of hanging around. I don't know. The burn got less on my third sip, and I'm not a rye. I don't normally like ryes, but honestly, I think I could handle that one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make the statement that I think I actually have made before. So I gave this a 2 because I think overall for today, I think it's a 2.
And the stuff that's kind of going on in your life right now.
I'll
give it a 2.
Plus, you're on your period,
it's
and
a
that
two.
makes you
It's
taste
my time
things
of the month.
different, So, I get you.
But I mean,
I left a tampon out.
But I do
Yeah.
have a real problem now. I'm thinking about it. The fact that I gave this the same as I gave that disgusting one that's still in the cupboard over there.
Oh god, that nobody's
Zachariah?
touched.
Zachariah.
No, you did
No, I
not.
think you
I-
gave that a 1.5 or something.
Really?
Like
Hold
you-
on, let's check the.
Yeah,
right-
well, we're gonna
Well,
check
check it out.
on that one.
Because it's like I don't like.
What did we actually? While you're in there, what is our count at? Like how many?
I think we're
have
at
we
like
tried?
16 or 17.
Jesus.
And remember, of course, this is just what's published.
yes.
Do you want
I
to
don't
pull it
even
up
know what
and
we
we'll
did
see?
prior to that. Oh, we're gonna show.
Yeah, our last one was
so
Red
for the people that
Riding
are listening on SoundCloud or any
Oh
of your
yes, we're pulling up our chart.
favorite choice there. We've got a link in the description of the actual chart we keep of our ratings for each of the
So what did you give it?
bourbons.
I gave this a
He
2.
gave it a 2.
2. Okay, so you gave a 2 to Zachariah Harris.
Holy
I know.
shit.
And that's what I'm thinking. And you gave it a 1.
Zachariah Harris, I gave a 1.
Yes.
Yes, but this I gave a 3.5. This one was
Right, but I guess that's my
Or
point.
3.4.
And I think we've said this before. It's I wish we could kind of like retcon some of the.
I don't know.
previous
I think,
numbers.
like you said, though, it's this point in time. That's what you felt like it deserved. That's not. Don't. You gotta. But you can't base it on what you've already given, because if you do that, you're gonna drive yourself nuts.
But I think in reality,
You could
we
change
were
the
we,
camera
we were young. we were young.
We were young 8 months ago.
and I gave Zachariah Harris a 2 because I figured that over the course of the hundreds of episodes that we would end up doing,
We're getting there.
that we would ultimately be drinking some worse shit than Zachariah Harris. Even though I figured that would be pretty hard to do.
But you can't. You got. I think. I live in the now, man. You're
in the now.
Now is the time. Okay, hey, 2 came to mind. Like for me, 3. Like if I was any other rye, I probably would have given it a 2. But now Zachariah Harris, I think I gave a 1. I don't know if you want to double check. that,
you gave Zachariah Harris
You
a
gave it-
2.
you gave
No,
it-
What?
I'm the only one who gave it a 1. Everybody
Really?
else gave it
Yeah,
a
you
2.
gave
Oh,
it
then
a
I
2
was.
as well.
Well, let me rephrase that, because I did end up the second time around that we had it. I didn't think it was as bad as Red Saw. So, but yeah.
Red Saw, you gave a 1. You rated Red Saw lower than Zachariah
Yeah.
Harris.
It
I
was-
rated Red Saw higher than Zachariah Harris.
You
Yeah.
did.
Well, that's
You
because.
did. Well, that I could see, though.
Yeah,
I agree
British.
with that. I think Red Saw is higher than Zachariah Harris.
Really?
Oh, I
my
think so.
God.
What-
They're out of the business.
Zachariah Harris to me is the
Hey,
worst.
Zachariah Harris is still
Zachariah Harris
around.
the
Red Saw is
bottom
out
of
of
the
business. That should
Well,
tell you something
okay,
about
but
it.
you sell the cheapest whiskey in America, you're going to sell a
Hey,
lot of
man.
it.
Yeah, well, or if you sell shit, I don't know.
So moving on to this.
Moving on up.
I think it's a good rye whiskey. I like rye whiskey, though. If you don't like rye to begin with,
Right.
your chances are you're going to rate this lower than some other ones that you do. I like the rye because it's got the spice. It's got a little bit of kick. I love WhistlePig, and I'll be honest, I've had this before,
Okay.
and I rated it lower personally. I didn't think it was...
You had this exact one? Or
This
just
exact
WhistlePig?
one.
Okay.
I have had this before. And when I had it before, I thought, well, it's good, but it's not as good as some of the other WhistlePigs. And I thought, when I saw it again, I'm like, well, it's been a long time since I had it. Let's give it another try. And I actually like it better
And you've-
now than I did
You've
remember it
matured
back then.
as a whiskey
I-
drinker.
I think so. I think I've just
So
gotten more into rye.
that brings up the next question then. Price.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's hear it. What do you think?
Oh,
You know
sorry.
what? I even brought the receipt.
Do we... Oh, wow, he's going receipt.
Yeah.
Do we got to get down to the penny with
Uh,
tax and everything, too?
I'll round it for you. How about
Okay.
that? Although, if you want to give pennies, man, knock yourself out. I'm here for you, brother.
I know WhistlePig's a big name. I'm going to go with $68.
I'm gonna go $59.95.
What did you say?
$59.95, Bob.
Okay. You're all not too far off. This was $63.99.
Okay.
Oh, you went over though, so I won.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm gonna go to the family showcase.
It was
Family
$1.
So, and now, to me, that's a hefty for a rye.
Yeah.
But
But
if
it's-
you remember the other ones that we did, the Bell Mead, was it? No, it wasn't Bell Mead. What was the,
The
one
one
that
from
we?
Pittsburgh?
No.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh one.
Yeah, that's Belmead.
Was it Bell Mead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Hugh Bell of Bedford.
Oh, Bedford.
Bell of Bedford.
Bedford, Pittsburgh.
That was the best rye I've ever had in my life.
That was good. I gave that a good rating.
And it was
I'll give it
100% rye.
2.5.
It was 100% rye. You
That's
gave it
almost a 3.
2.5.
That's almost a 3.
It's also
This was back-
0.5
yeah, but see-
above Zachariah Harris.
But now, if you think about it, this was
Hence
he's
my
being,
problem.
See, yes, this is where he has the issue of now he's
This is
basing
where it
everything on
comes up.
prior stuff.
Yep.
Just go with it.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to do. Each one is how did I feel with that specific? Because if I go back and go, well, I gave Zachariah Harris, which I didn't really like, then
Yeah.
I'm going to drive myself nuts. So I would rather.
I think your method has been proven to be ill-fated.
What method was that?
Your method of
Ill-tempered sea bass.
rating whiskeys and bourbons based on, well, it's not Lagavulin, so
Yeah.
Yes.
it can't be that good. So I must rate it a 2 or 2.5, which seems to be your norm.
I'm trying to live in the now.
Okay, all
And
right.
so-
well,
so-
now you are living in the now.
And you gave
Before
us a
you were living
2.
in the past, and now you're living in the now,
Well, but-
as opposed to living in the previous
But,
now. which was
but
then.
clearly, when I was in the past, I was living in the past. Now I'm living
Isn't
in
that
the
a
now.
Jethro Tull song?
It
Sorry.
is. I love Jethro Tull.
Good.
I'm
Yes.
a Tull
Oh,
fan.
God.
I'm a Tull fan.
All right.
I'm a Tull fan.
All right, we got to go see him
like
at some
Tull.
point. Anyway, so
Aren't they-
we do have a
Aren't
movie.
they dead?
Well, not the main guy.
Oh, but if you go in the past,
Oh,
then you can see it.
You have the
hope
worst
you don't
dad
mind if
jokes.
I sit
God.
this one out.
Anyway, are we done with talking with this?
No.
Yes.
About whiskey.
All
So
right,
we're-
all
I
right,
think-
let's move on. We
so-
did 20 minutes on bourbon.
Yeah,
or rye.
Because it was
sorry,
worth it.
bourbon,
It was
so
worth
whiskey.
it. So we got to do a rating.
Have you
of
guys
our-
ever had it? If you have, put it down in the comments.
Yeah.
Let me hear what you think
We
about
need
it,
to have
because
a cough button.
there's there you go. There is
That's
about
gonna be good.
5 or 6 different whistle pigs out there now. There's a ton of them.
All the pigs are whistling.
And the very first one that I had was phenomenal, and I don't remember which
Are they
one
all
that
ryes?
was. I believe most of them are rye. I think almost all of them are rye. If they're not
Whatever
all
we
rye.
had at
They
the.
do have a bourbon. I think they do. Have a
I'm
see,
bourbon.
going to
because
look it up, but whatever we had at the tasting,
That was still a rye. That was still a rye.
that was still a rye.
That
So,
was still-
because I mean, I know I've had it at your bar,
Yes.
so it's like, and that would have been
At the
a
whistle
rye.
pig, you've had the whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was always a rye. I've never had a whistle pig, other than a rye.
Okay.
I do think they make one, but I don't have it.
I got to go back to.
Okay, well, so whilst they're clearly both, look at the, for those watching, like both of them are looking,
Oh, wait, I
like,
need the
looking at
bottle.
in a different.
Yep, it's all rye whiskey,
direction.
my friend. They're all rye whiskey.
So for those listening on the podcast,
Ooh, estate oak rye.
We're in like a limbo right at
they're in a limbo right now. So
Okay,
I'm
sorry,
going to
man.
talk a little
Sorry,
bit
man.
about our movie.
Yeah.
What movie
What
was
movie
that?
was that again?
The movie we're reviewing tonight is The Hunt from 2020,
The
directed
sea
by
is silent.
Oh, come on.
Craig Zobel. Well, it's so fun because I was going to say Craig, and I'm like, Ray?
Ray.
It's Ray Zobel?
Rag.
Craig Zobel, and written by Nick Cuss and Damon Lindelof of obviously Lost fame.
I have still never seen any Lost.
Really?
Not a one.
Oh my God! You literally need to stop right now. Go home and spend the next.
I'm afraid to.
two-
That's
two
going to be like,
days.
yeah, that's what's going to happen is I'm going to get lost in the episodes from what I've heard. So I don't know if I want to do it just
It is. Oh my God! We're going to start on a tangent here, but so
That's what we do.
so Lost is one of these things where, unfortunately, it ended, and I didn't like the ending at all. But the first like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 seasons,
Isn't there like
7. I think
Okay.
there's 7 seasons.
Not 6, 7.
3 should be the number.
Oh,
no,
that's cool.
but it's the first like 4 or 5 seasons were just phenomenal, just such like just amazing TV. Sorry, I'm burping. Anyway.
Just a side note, real quick. They've actually got the recipe on the back here.
Oh, you can make your own?
No,
Yeah.
they tell you what it is.
They do that.
The percent. That is cool. I like.
Yeah,
that.
they do that
I've
on
seen
all the
that.
bottles because they also show you the breakdown, so you know how much rye versus how much wheat versus how much anything else
so
they've
this
got.
is out of Vermont. Just an FYI, it was a small batch rye that we tried.
It was small batch,
So
okay,
that's
but it was a
probably why
rye.
I was like,
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
So
small batch
anyway,
rye is top
movie.
notch. Top notch.
Anyway.
Top notch.
The Hunt.
The Hunt. So I do want to say that just jumping into this, the movie. This came out right at the pandemic.
Yes, it did.
And it was stopped, and this may be somebody's trivia, but I think this is important to say now, is how this one was put off a year for more than just the pandemic reasons.
It was originally supposed to be released in September 2019, but there was a mass shooting that happened. Actually, I think there was 2 mass shootings that happened like fairly close to each other, and so they decided that it probably wasn't a good look to have a movie about people being hunted.
That's what they want you to think.
I see.
But there was also, at that time, a huge outlash by extreme right that thought this was an anti-right
Right.
movie.
Right. Okay, so we're
We
going to
don't
straight away get in.
we don't normally get into politics. in this, but
well,
Let-
all right, wait. Let's.
okay,
let's do a
okay.
rating.
You're right. We're jumping in and we didn't do a
You're
rating.
you're left. I'm right.
because we only have a few. I actually only have a few trivia questions. So.
I got a few. Okay. All right.
Hold on.
Hold up. Wait. Now I'm gonna have that scent with me anywhere I go. WhistlePig.
Your spilled WhistlePig?
Yep.
Okay.
I might just.
Nobody
leave
likes a
this here.
spilled WhistlePig.
Your Bay Ranger.
All right, you ready?
Bay Ranger.
Bay Ranger.
Okay.
You ready? 1, 2,
Yes.
Oh my God!
Logan
2
gave it a
4s
4?
and a 3. Logan gave it a 4. Warwick
I gave it a 3.
and Lon gave it a 4.
Okay. So let's start with the low man on the totem pole here.
Yeah, man. What's the hell's the matter with you?
So I thought this was really good. I thought it was
better than Zachariah Harris.
it was definitely better than Zachariah
A
Harris.
stab in the asshole is better than a Zachariah Harris.
I wouldn't know.
Pass me some WhistlePig, would you please?
No. It's mine.
I'll give it back.
I don't want to spill it anymore.
So I thought this was a really good movie. I thought it was very enjoyable. I thought it was a little bit. I can't say boring. Boring is.
Oh,
Don't
God
you-
damn, these things are in my fucking face.
Don't sugarcoat it.
Sorry.
Come on.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I just thought it was a little bit. Like, it ended way too quickly for me. Like
Really?
to me,
Okay.
to me, there was
Wow.
there was.
That means you liked it, though, that you were always on edge and it went by quickly.
But just it's
Still an hour and a half.
The killing part of it at the beginning, I think, could have like gone on a little bit quicker. Sorry, a little bit longer rather. The opposite of quicker.
Don't mince words.
I
That's
did,
the WhistlePig kicking in.
but it's like I thought the tail end, like the last 30% of the movie, were friggin' awesome. Like I thought it was great. Like all the actual discovery of where they are and things like that. I thought that was excellent. I just thought the beginning of it was just a little bit. I don't know, just not well.
I thought
see,
it went. I
totally
thought
disagree.
I thought it went very Hitchcockian, in that
Okay,
you've got
explain that
these
one,
main characters, and bam, gone, and you're like,
Well,
yes.
I love the
You
fact
know,
Yes.
that
I-
Emma
I
Roberts
l-
died like within the first like
yes, I'm
10
not a big
minutes.
fan of hers,
anybody
but
that was a
she's
famous
she's a good
actor,
actress, but for whatever
they were
reason, I don't
picked
like her.
off right away.
Yeah.
Everybody that was a character that you thought, well, they're famous, they'll be the star, got picked off in the first half an hour.
Which I
That's
think that
beautiful.
was a good
That's
idea to
beautiful.
do that, because then that drew the shit, nobody's safe, right?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
the whole Game of Thrones thing.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like you kill off the main
and
character.
what was another movie that they killed off the biggest name in the movie in the first?
Psycho.
No, in the beginning. Well, she wasn't the biggest name at the time, but Scream.
Oh well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
with Drew
yeah,
Barrymore.
yeah.
Everybody thought Drew Barrymore's in it. That this is a Drew Barrymore film, and she gets killed off in the first 10 minutes. Come on.
Yeah, I mean it's. I liked. Yeah, I mean it was cool. Just it's. I think obviously this came out after Hunger Games, and I think
Clearly.
there was a. a little bit of an expectation. And this was the I'd seen it when it first came out, not in the movie theater, and we'll talk about that. But I saw it when it first came out as a kind of like a throwaway movie of like I thought it was a direct-to-video movie and.
But that was on purpose. From what I read, there was a reason that they did it that way, and they kind of released it a little more quietly because of the opposition and the
possible political nature of it.
Yes, because they put it out there as this is satire. Let's be clear. This is satire. They make fun of both sides
Yes, they do.
in this movie quite extensively. In fact, that I would argue to say that that's the ongoing theme of this is that everybody who picks a side is dead. The only one you have no idea what political side she leans is the only survivor.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, yes. If there's one thing that you actually realize here is, it's the classic case of there's wackos on the far left, there's wackos on the far right. This movie is all about those people.
Yep.
Except for the one person that they, spoilers, you discover that they picked up the wrong person who happened to be named a certain name, and they got the wrong person.
Yeah.
But like everyone else is like the extreme left wing, ultra woke. I'm sure we'll talk about it. You might even have a clip of it. Even to the point where it's like, I shouldn't be not doing something because you're a woman. No, absolutely. I should be treated in the exact same way. Okay, bang.
That was a very clever way to put that too.
So well done.
I believe they did that, and when I was watching it, I was concerned it was going to be a political piece, but it was more political satire.
Absolutely,
I
this
think they
was
did
satire.
that, and I think they rode that line perfectly.
Absolutely.
Like they made sure that nobody was left out. It didn't matter which side you were on. Any person could have died, right?
Well, I think the other thing. Sorry to interrupt, but that's what I do. But I think
you go, boy.
I think the other thing that was most interesting about it is from the very beginning of the movie to all the way up until like the first kind of major scene with the opposition in the gas station. You actually think it's really the other way around. You think it is the right-wing gun-toting people that are out to shoot the liberal
whatever,
leftist poor people that no one's going to care when they die, and we're rich and we're white and therefore we're going to kill all these people. It really isn't until that scene in the gas station that they start making comments of like it's like you can't say this because that may be offensive to people.
But do you remember when they were talking when all the rich people were sitting in the room talking about all the people that they've rounded up for this, and they're talking about, I mean, they're literally just so over, I hate using the term woke, but they were so over PC that they were even talking to each other like that, like, hey, you can't say that, you can't say black, but I am black.
I gendered that. Oops.
Yeah, right. It was like
you can't wear that kimono. Well, I'm like 6%.
You're appropriating.
I'm 6% Japanese.
Right. I think it was a statement about over PC, the community, the world at large being overly PC, and then the right wing side that is overly. Oh, I didn't want to start it. And the other side that's, I mean, it was two extremes.
Right. Yes, which they had to do. Right.
Which they had to do, but that's just it. It's not like all of the left are poor people. They have the leftist elite, and in this case, the right-winged poor, or what they call deplorables, which was a reference to
obviously
Hillary Clinton, when Hillary Clinton
Trump's,
loved Trump supporters as being deplorables.
Right.
So
they went all in on the political side, which
but
was,
it's satire.
But that's the thing is, I like that because if you can't watch a movie and put aside your political beliefs or your religious beliefs or whatever else, then you're not there to see an actual movie. You're there to just button up your side.
The
right?
simple fact that one side decided that this was a movie against them and they haven't seen it yet.
Well, that's always the case.
They stopped it from coming out because of what they thought what the perception of it was going to be. And that's part of what the movie's saying, that this is all about assumptions
Yep.
of what people are.
You know what you know what happens when you assume?
There
Make
you
an ass out of you
and me and Borg.
May.
But May, because that was her last name.
Yep.
Anyway, but that's what I'm saying. This was a satire about both sides being ridiculous,
And I loved that.
and that's one of the things I loved about it the most.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I think, you know, it is somewhat to the same thing, you know, with Ready or Not that we reviewed last week.
Just didn't change.
It's a studio movie that still manages to have a good amount of gore. I mean, it was
Oh,
like
yeah.
I think
It was good gore, too.
there was some good kills in there.
Love the tire over the head. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
What was the budget on that?
14 million.
Oh, okay.
So
Not outrageous.
not outrageous for a studio movie. So officially, it only made $10.5 million.
Oh, that's disappointing. But that's because it was COVID and that's the
Right.
pandemic.
So
and I
basically,
think-
kind of to what Lon was saying. So yeah. So it was originally scheduled for release in September 2019. Was delayed because of the two mass shootings. It was
Allegedly.
it was rescheduled for March 2020, and of course, we all know what happened in March 2020.
No. What happened?
So no one went to the movie theater to watch it. And so this was actually there was two other movies that I think Universal did at the same time, but this is one of the first movies where they coincided a release in select theaters that decided to still stay open and do a kind of VOD release at the same time. It was like $19.99 to see it,
Yeah.
and so most of the 10 million comes from that VOD.
Right. So it really is not a fair
No.
marking or level of what this movie could have done. I think this movie was absolutely wonderful to watch. I enjoyed every minute of it.
100% enjoyable.
I think the main character, now Crystal, but what was the actress's name on that?
Betty Gilpin.
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 Gilpin. So Betty?
Betty.
Yeah.
Betty Gilpin. I thought it was
Yeah,
somebody-
she was
Jet.
born
Betty
in
Gilpin.
1950.
Betty Gilpin is one of those people that I haven't seen many of her movies. In fact, I had to look her up because I had not seen anything else. Because when I saw this movie, I'm like, why haven't I heard of this person
Yeah.
before? She's fantastic.
Great comedic timing as well. I mean,
Yes.
it's
But
like-
she's been the help or the housewife that backs up their man, and she's been always the supporting actress kind of in a minor role kind of thing, except for Glow. The only movie that I saw that was the Glow Ladies of Wrestling.
oh yeah.
She was fantastic in that, but a completely different character. But you at least saw her comedic timing in that one.
But
So-
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
No, she to me was what I feel like a true heroine in a movie should be. Like I believed when
Well-
she hit somebody, it was gonna hurt. Like a lot of times you see these, and this is gonna sound probably sexist, whatever, but I don't care. A lot of these women are super skinny, hardly any muscle on them, and then they
Yeah,
punch
yeah,
a guy
yeah.
that's 6'4" and
Yeah,
270
yeah.
pounds, and the
She's-
guy falls over. I feel like if she hits you, it's gonna fucking hurt.
Yeah, but not because she's like bulky.
No,
I mean,
no.
She
It's just
she was
she
fit,
just the
but-
way she carried herself
Yeah.
was exactly how you would see somebody that was a ranger or something like that.
Well,
She-
we
yeah,
don't
she
know
was
the
military. She was
military.
Yeah,
We don't know
all,
what.
all she disclosed was that she was military.
Yeah.
Right, and she was in Desert Storm, I think. she said.
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she could have been a cook.
But-
now
are we talking?
that's sexist.
Are we talking Steven Seagal?
But
type
clearly-
stuff? because she kicked
Clearly,
some
she
ass.
wasn't, because remember the other military, the person who was there as the advisor.
Yeah.
He was like military, but remember what branch he was in?
Yeah, he was in the reserves.
Reserve,
No,
yeah.
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard.
Well,
yeah.
Coast
He was Coast Guard.
Yeah.
And Coast Guard.
And
It's a Coast Guard.
apparently
And
was
he owed
was
her a favor.
He was a military consultant on Tears of the Sun.
Oh, right.
Bruce Willis was in it.
which apparently he wasn't.
right.
So-
That's
Yeah.
funny.
But yeah, I think the way that character was played, the way she carried herself, was perfect. What's his name? Ethan. I cannot think
Ethan
of his.
Serpy.
Serpy. Honestly, that was obviously after his weight loss. Because
He's way more fit than that now.
he is now, but even then you could tell that was when he started or something.
Which
'cause
character
he
is this
was-
now?
He's the shut the fuck up, Gary. The guy that first meets her at the gas station.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And shoots the drone, and she's like,
Why'd you do
now
that?
they know where we are.
Yeah, that's right. Because I've seen him in a lot of comedies, but
Yeah, but he was much bigger, and that's why at first I didn't recognize him, and then all of a sudden they did like a close-up shot, and I'm like, holy shit, is that, and that made me obviously look him up, but yeah, they just, I felt like this was a movie, and I had mentioned this in my previous rating, this is something I would recommend to other people to watch.
I would too.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But going back to the actress who, again, I won't say she made this movie, because actually this one took a lot more than just one actress to carry it through. This did have a lot of good acting in it throughout.
Yeah, it did.
I'm not saying the other movie we watched did not, but I'm just saying this one had a lot of good acting throughout. But her comedic timing on this, to me, gave the movie a certain weirdness, because she wasn't like your normal hero where she was like, oh, stealthy, I'll get you.
Yep.
She was like weird. She was like, like giving these weird stretches to the mouth and stretched eyes all the time, and that southern accent made her seem a little bit crazy.
Yeah, I mean, in reality, all the way until the very, very end fight scene, you still don't quite know what she's about. Clearly she has certain skills.
She has a particular set of skills.
She has a particular set of
But
skills.
she was nothing like that kind of guy, or that kind of character.
Right. No, exactly. But the point is, like, but having watched it a couple of times now, it's, you can look back at even the very first few scenes of when they're dropped off in the in Croatia or wherever it was supposed to be.
It's supposed to be Arkansas.
Yeah. But the point, it's like, where everyone else was, oh look, there's a box out there, we need to go and get it. Like, she's like, no, clearly,
Right.
I just need to.
The first thing she did
No.
was take off her pin and figure out which way's north.
Right.
The frustrating thing about that part was, if she was like a true survivalist, she would have then grabbed the pin and probably
She
picked
did.
the lock.
She did pick the lock to
did?
open her gag. Yeah, you must have blinked at that or gone to the bathroom during that
All
part.
right, maybe.
Yeah.
But I felt like she should have done that first.
Well, how
is
do you
what I'm
think
getting
she
at.
walked away without how do you think she showed up in the next scene without a mouthpiece?
Well, okay, but they all were unlocking, so maybe she got a key.
But she wasn't
somehow.
part of that
But
group.
Yeah,
I
she wasn't
understand.
part of it.
But either way, I felt like she should have done that first.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah, she
because
didn't
then that
do
would
that
have drawn
first.
more attention, I think, with Emma Roberts. But
You're right,
You
she
know, I
didn't
mean,
do
and
that
I get
first.
the whole, hey, that's north, let's go that way type of thing. But
Right.
it was just like, why wouldn't you take your
But
gag off
the
first?
second she did that, the fact that she did that first, everybody knew instantly she was the survivalist.
Right. Like,
Not maybe a survivalist, but she was trained in surviving.
She knew what she was doing.
She knew what she was doing.
Yes.
But
Now, do you want to show a video to
I
kind of
do, so-
describe what we're
So
talking about? Because
the
it's a little
weirdness, I
harder
wanted-
to.
I did wanna
give you
jump
that
to this.
timing.
but before we do that
No.
part, can
Doing
we,
it now.
No, word says no.
Can we
I want it now.
can we talk to
I
this,
want it now.
the Charlie bit my finger. Can we talk to the part where they do, like, open the box and obviously the pig comes out and
Yes.
Yep.
stuff like that?
Sure.
But that whole scene, as much as, to part of the reason why I think I gave it a 3 and not a higher rating, that scene was an amazing, like, 10 minutes, just by the number of people that are killed by it.
Yes.
And some of just, like, the hilariously comedic parts of
The
of,
funny
of the
kills.
kills.
Yeah.
Like the woman who runs off.
Are you talking the hole?
And
Yeah.
and gets, like, stuck on the punji sticks, and she's sitting there and makes the point of saying, "Today's my birthday."
Yep. People don't know what the punny sticks are. You got to explain what that
Oh,
is.
so it's punji, right? Punji.
I thought it was punny, but that's fine.
So basically, it's a Korean War thing where you make a fake covering, so that when you
Over a hole.
and when you walk in, there's actually in Korea it was like bamboo sticks
Sharpened.
and so you die.
As soon as you
basically.
fall in, you're impaled.
Yeah, it hurts.
So
Allegedly. Never had it happen to me.
So this woman, that's exactly what happens, and she falls in, and so one of the other guys who, there's gunshots going on around, and he goes in and he tries to like save her, and then as he lifts her out, they get shot again, and he gets shot, and like kind of she gets like eviscerated in the middle. She basically ends up being like
Blown up.
half the person that she once was,
literally,
and falls back in the pit, impaled again.
Over the same spike through the same hole in her chest. Yeah.
And then the next
it was a mine, by the way, that he
funny.
stepped on.
That's right. That's right.
Step on a mine.
Which you can, if you, and I know ultimately at the end, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. Even though the movie's called The Hunt, jumping forward a little bit, it's like clearly the assumption is that it really isn't a regular hunt like other movies that we may have seen, but it's because to me it's a little bit of a waste if you have 20 or 30 people, however many they said they had out there.
Yeah, it was just more like a slaughter.
And you killed them all within the first 10 minutes.
Right. Well, not all.
No.
In fact, really, because technically they missed 1, 2, 3 who made it to the gas station at first. 4 being the old bearded guy that was in question whether he's with them or not, and then of course our Crystal, the heroine, Snowball, and then
and Ethan Serpy. So
then Serpy, who also survived for a longer
Gary.
time. So really, maybe half of them they got rid of.
I think more than half, but yes.
How many did they? I don't know how many they started with.
I thought they said 30. I thought
So
30?
I thought
That was actually one of my questions.
Wow.
But they. That's kind of going fast forward. Maybe we'll wait to mention that.
But anyway, I really like that first part.
So let's go. So what I wanted to kind of show this clip for is because of the comedy and sheer weirdness of Crystal, a.k.a. Snowball.
That she brings to the table.
You're in the
Wait.
glorious.
I hate
Subtitles.
closed captions.
Yeah. So I think they're in the glorious state of Arkansas is what she's
It's not.
saying.
I guess it's part of the scene. All right, you guys are going to have to deal with that.
All right.
State of Arkansas.
And we won't talk over the best part, but she notices that the money's wrong, the change is wrong.
And just look at her face.
Is there anything else?
Ninja, this is the first chance you know she's a badass.
Yes.
Trained badass.
Yes. You think she was just a
My
survivalist
favorite.
up to this
Arkansas only
right
cost
here.
$6. You fucked up, bitch.
Don't talk over it.
I would
People
love
can't
to
hear it.
Now, the funny thing was,
Talking over it.
I got a random text from somebody, rhymes with Tor chick. Anyway, and
Am I Russian?
and while he was, it literally said, in Arkansas it's only $6. You've done fucked up.
You
You
done
done bitch.
fucked up,
And I was
bitch.
like, and I'm thinking because I had sent like a GIF of what the hell's her name from Lucille Ball.
Oh, yeah.
Going like, and I'm like. Did she say that at some point or something? I had no clue because I hadn't seen the movie yet.
Because Warwick saw it before we did.
And then I
so
even
he said that,
responded
we're
with
like,
question
what?
marks and nothing for like another day. And then
Yeah.
finally it's like, oh, yeah, that's from the movie. I'm like, oh, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like, I'm thinking, shit, either
You
you're
got
really
too
rude to
excited.
your friends.
You got
And that was
prematurely
an,
excited.
was it a butt dial?
It was like such an awesome part in that movie.
Yeah.
It was
Agreed.
It was so cool, and I think it really did. From that moment, I mean, you thought that maybe Crystal was a little bit of the survivalist.
But she's also a little unhinged.
Right, but you didn't really know that she was really a badass.
Right.
Right. Until that part,
Until
yeah.
that moment.
Right. Because she didn't do anything that was superhuman or ninja-like or
Right.
anything up until that point. But then once she did that, you're like, she knew the guy had the shotgun under the she knew the whole scene, and she kept her cool the whole time until jump, ninja move, blow him, done.
Ninja.
Now, remind me. So it wasn't until she left the gas station that she saw the pickup truck and saw the fake license plate, right? So like she still went into the convenience store thinking that this was a real convenience store.
Correct.
Yes.
Well, she went into the convenience store assuming it might be. I don't think she was convinced because she was
not
on
until
edge the whole time.
until the pricing of those
Right.
cigarettes.
Because the whole time she was a little curious about it, and she was checking them out just as much as they were checking her out.
Right.
You know what I mean? She was checking the reaction.
Do you
talking
think
to
her buying the cigarettes was kind of her way of checking?
No,
double
she
checking?
needed a cigarette badly because every time she saw somebody with a cigarette, she was like, "Can I have one of those?"
Like, no.
Yeah. I think that was legitimate. But to your point, I think she just her demeanor and her face was very like no emotion. I'm really there just to try and read the situation, and you have these two people seemingly in the middle of nowhere, and why are they so goddamn happy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first 3 people that went in there assumed it was an actual place, and they came in there like they didn't check them out. They were just assuming. So they busted everything up, and they were, like ready to go, and they're eating the food out of there and stuff like that. She went in there quiet, reserved, just checking out. Not like, hey, I've been abducted, I'm being shot at and hunted. She just came in reserved, not telling anybody what they did. In fact, even when she got caught by the Croatians, and they were that guy who was just eating eggs while they're talking to her, she was like, so you got you're being hunted? And she was like, who told you I was being hunted? Until the other fat ass came out and said, yeah, we're being hunted. She's like, yeah, I'm being hunted.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also I'm trying to think of the movie. I'm sure it's in a lot of movies, but like, there's a lot of movies where people who are trained in I'm going to say espionage, but like espionage and situation awareness, where it's like, you walk into a room and the first thing you do is you try and work out where your exits are, who are the people that are potential threats to you.
Yeah, like
correct.
The born identity.
Their locations.
Right. And it's like, that's clearly what she was doing. Like, even though she ultimately just wanted to go in and buy a pack of cigarettes, it's like her mindset, obviously because of what had happened in the previous however many minutes.
Her radar went off. Something didn't feel right.
Right.
And that does bring up another point. It kind of goes back to that, again, somewhat jumping to the end, where, we kind of supposedly discover that this isn't really an ongoing hunt.
I had a little bit of a problem with that.
Because it's like, I know there's a whole part of what they're trying to say, part of Hilary Swank's speech.
Did you say schwank?
Schwank.
I think you said schwank.
Schwank.
Oh god, that hit my funny bone.
Swank.
Schwank.
Before you go further on that, I did like how they tease her into the movie.
I hated that part.
Really?
Because you never saw her face.
Yeah.
And
There was no point.
I was like, who the hell is this? And I could
There was
tell
no
by the voice, I'm like,
point.
God, why have I heard this person's voice? And then I was thinking almost
What was
I
the
cannot
point?
think of her name.
What was the point?
The lady from Men in Black, the first Men in Black.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, the female.
But what was the point of hiding her identity
Because
until
that's
the
kind of
end?
like Dr. Evil,
But
it's
then
like
you reveal and you're like,
or Dr. No.
okay, it's Hilary Swank. Was that supposed to be
Yeah,
important
Because
somehow?
it's a big name. Like at that point,
Well,
she was-
everybody in there was a big name. There was a
Well,
lot of people that
reasonably
were
big
big
name.
names. Well, I mean,
But
Hilary
you're right. It'd be
Swank.
different if it was like
She's
Hillary,
big in Croatia,
Hillary
maybe.
Clinton or
Right,
something.
right. It was just not that big of a reveal. You're like, okay, Hilary Swank's playing.
Well, and even
somebody
the
important?
whole business thing, where it's like, ultimately she gets fired because of the whole text that happened. Like,
Right.
again, this is my second watching, but I still kind of I ran out of time to actually like kind of rewatch and try and get more in depth in it. But it's like, is the thought that she got fired and that's what really in theory made them go forward with
The trigger?
Yes.
with the hunt.
Yes. That was the whole point. The fact they even talked about it. That fact that's who they hunted down was all the people who blurted those
Manorgate.
tweets and called it Manorgate and did all that so that she got fired and all that. So she was getting
But
her
you don't-
revenge on
but
everybody by
they
making
left
what
a
they
little-
said was true into actually being
They
true.
left a little ambiguity as to it could have happened prior to that, right?
But also it's like
Because
she stuck to the story that they
somebody
didn't.
has enough money to go to build have a home in Croatia and set
manor.
up an entire not a home, not a mansion,
it's a
a
two-bedroom
it's
house.
a 3-bedroom house. It was
But,
like a 3-bedroom
but they because that doesn't just happen overnight. They didn't really
Well,
give
they had,
you a
no, they had
really
18 months.
Yeah, but
between
that's-
when she got fired and when they did this.
But that's a lot to be able to age a ma and pa gas station.
Did I mention that this is a satire?
No, I get it, but I'm just saying, like, to me, it left. I liked the ambiguity of maybe it was already going on and she's just playing, because that could be something. Maybe they were making fun of the left, like where it's like, hey,
but they did make
they
fun of
say
the
this
fact.
stuff doesn't happen, but we made it happen
Yeah.
because you told us that it was happening. So we said we're getting in trouble for it. We might as well do it anyway.
They did make fun of the fact that that was allegedly the plot they were going with. They poked the fun at their own selves about that.
But I mean, but I do think it's so there are,
Because how do you get that many people
Well,
to agree to that?
It's a movie.
but that
they all lost their jobs or had financial impact from that Manorgate tweets.
But I agree in terms of, so like everything you look at is, you know, okay, so maybe it's on a compound and you know, yes, there's this house that's
David
only a
Koresh.
three bedroom, but like, you know, the fact that in reality, actually almost to the point that we were talking about just now, maybe they did expect them just to slaughter everyone in that first area, because really all they had was that one fox.
The bunker.
Yeah, bunker area.
Right.
But
they weren't
but the fact that
inexperienced. They don't know what they're
that
doing.
they built the gas station, as you said, but then what threw the whole storyline to me was when they got on the train.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
that guy, supposedly he said he'd been embedded with those refugees.
Yep.
Just on the off chance that they managed to get on the train
Right. At that time,
on that open door
on that
of open
one train car. Yeah, but that's part of the joke. I think that's part of the joke, is that no matter where they turn, they come across these guys. Because even the guy who came to pick him up, who was from the embassy, who came to pick him up, was part of them.
Right, but
That I laughed hysterically.
But,
at that
yeah,
part.
that
to
was
me,
funny.
but to me, that's a
was
little
funny.
bit more believable of the fact that, okay, so your quote unquote contestants have been picked up by the police. Okay, let's send someone over from the embassy. But that's something that happens because of, you know, the fact that they were arrested by the police. That is totally different from, you don't know the timing of those people leaving the gas station and ultimately finding where the train tracks are, and you don't know what those timings are. So how did they happen to have someone on that train at the exact
Which
correct-
you find
correct
out
moment?
he is one of them.
Right. It's
Right, but that's what I mean.
So
it
like,
was a setup gag, therefore a flaw in the storyline, but a setup
well,
gag. That's all.
now he did seem a little shocked. Like he's like, just go with it, man. What like? What are you trying to do?
Because he
So-
said these are real soldiers.
Yeah.
Right.
So that like he's to me that was more like, well, this wasn't how it was supposed to go, but this is how it's going. So just keep playing along and.
But actually, one of my favorite moments, not really one of my favorite moments, a good moment of the movie was in fact when he's like, you know, he's speaking in whatever
Right.
language it was, and all of a sudden he switches to
English.
English, and
You're
then
like-
of course when the police come, he's like he's back to speaking.
Yeah.
It was just so
Oh my
good.
gosh! And now that part I laughed hysterically mostly because of the way he was able to bounce between the two. But then when that grenade went in his pants,
That was
I lost my shit because I'm thinking that's legitimately like, how the hell do you get a grenade out of your pants in time? Like, even if you shake it out of your leg, that's going to take a couple of seconds. You know, and
if you're work, you've got a lot of room down there, so it's easy to just grab the one big ball that's down there.
You just
So
pull,
you
just
know,
pull your pants down.
right? Actually, that's smart. Pull your pants down. I'd like to jump to, because we're already at an hour,
Jesus.
and we
Oh,
did
wow.
not even touch upon the fact of the whole Animal Farm aspect,
Oh yeah.
and the wonderful story she told about the tortoise and the hare that
Oh.
had a little bit of an extra ending to it.
Yes.
Does anybody remember this? You know, everybody knows the story of the tortoise and the hare,
yes,
where the hare thinks he's the
But we're gonna tell it anyway.
he's the hot shit and he's gonna run.
He's the
He
fastest.
can beat everybody in a race. And the turtle says, "Hey, why not? I'll race you." So he says, "Well, this will be the easiest race ever." So he gets so far ahead, he takes a nap, and the turtle passes him by, and wins the race. But the extra part of the story then was that the rabbit goes to the turtle's house, kills the turtle, his entire family during dinner, eats their food, because the rabbit always wins.
Right. Right. And
I loved Don's reaction to that. too, when he goes,
Oh, yeah.
Your mom told you that story?
Your mother told you that
Mother
story?
that was part of that comedic, like, because, I mean, she's telling the story, and you're like, okay, I kind of know where this is going. They're like, that's not where I thought it was going to go, you know,
Right,
until...
right.
But, you know, and that's... I did like how they intertwined animals into the film that way to then go into George Orwell's...
Well, let's talk
Animal
about that. So does everybody here know the story of Animal Farm?
Yes.
Has everybody
Yes.
read Animal
Yes.
Farm?
Yep.
Okay, we've all read Animal
And
Farm.
it's
Well,
cool.
You
I
read
think
Animal
there's actually a
Farm.
movie. They actually
There's
have a
There
been a
is.
few movies. There was
Yeah.
a live-action
Oh.
animatronic sort of movie, and there was an animated movie,
Yes.
which I can't believe there was an animated movie about. I mean, that's, I guess,
Yeah, well, there's,
back then, that's
what
how
is
you
it,
get Animal
Watership
Farm,
Down or
but-
whatever, where
Oh,
bunnies
God.
are killing.
What?
Watership Down. Yeah.
What?
Oh,
What
I
did you
have
say?
not seen it. I
No,
know
I didn't
of
hear
it.
what you said. What?
Oh.
Watership Down.
Oh, Watership Down.
Have you never seen?
No, I haven't seen that.
So Richard
What the f-
Wyndham was the author, and basically it's it's the story of life in a rabbit warren, and you go, oh, that's so cute. But it's like there's evil rabbits that basically rip apart other rabbits. It's,
Oh, okay.
It's they
And
did.
it's brutally...
It's very
Okay.
it's very bloody, and they actually did.
All right, not to divert the whole story, but
They
we'll
did.
jump back to the other one.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Okay.
I
We're
give it-
Maybe we should do-
digressing.
you know, we should
I
do
give it
that.
We're,
3
we're
barrels.
digressing, and it's been over an hour. So let's
All
jump
right,
back to
you
this.
digress, bitch.
I'll digress your face, motherfucker. The
Okay, what are we
point
doing?
Is we're talking about the fact that this one had a story and had 2 little subplots in there, right? It was a little bit of an allegory about Animal Farm,
Mm-hmm.
right? The original name of the farm before it became Animal Farm was, do you remember? It was called Manor Farm. It was the Manor Farm. That's why this was called Manorgate. This whole manor thing was a play on
It took me a couple times of them saying Manorgate to realize it was actually Manorgate.
Manor
I'm like, are they
slash
saying
gate.
Mattergate? I'm
Right,
like, what the
yeah, I
fuck?
get the
Brain
same
matter? It
thing,
didn't-
actually.
Anyway.
I heard it because I'm English.
And of course, they had the pig that was Orwell, dressed in clothing, right? And she called the main character, Crystal. I'll call her the main character, but a heroine. Snowball, right? And Snowball, as you guys probably know, is the pig that was the one who was more of the rebel, who had the good of everybody involved, but really rose to greatness because they were saying pigs are the master race. Not master race. I shouldn't, because really, it was a massively political story.
Yes.
I won't
Yes.
get deep
It
into
is
it.
the whole point.
And that was the whole point, is they were modeling this as a political satire, whereas that was Orwell's lighter way of comparing political climate of the
Parties, yep.
times, right?
Yep.
So to me, that was, they had a whole bunch of things with the Snowball. In fact, even at the end when she tried to compare Snowball, she said, "Why are you calling me Snowball?" And she's like, "Oh, it's Orwell, you dumb hick." And she's like, "I read Orwell, and this was actually your Snowball because that fits your
was an
character
idealist.
better than my
Yep.
character."
Right, and I think that also, right before that whole scene happens, is when Crystal is explaining that there's another Crystal. I can't remember what the last name is.
May.
Crystal May.
But M-E-Y instead of M-A-Y.
Yes, and so you have the wrong Crystal.
See, now I wish you would have said, you done fucked up, bitch. And then,
Right.
that would
Well,
have been...
let's face it, she was half dying
Yes.
at that
yeah,
point.
Yeah.
But-
or was she, though?
But it also had that wonderful story about the rabbit always wins. Even when the rabbit loses, the rabbit will kill your family, eat your food, and still win.
And I did like that nice little... I mean, and it was quiet. It was a nice little... When the rabbit comes in at the end.
Why
while
don't you
she's
switch that
playing it.
camera real quick here?
So, there we go.
Okay.
So this is the scene we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So
'Cause
they
they
just
talked about the
they
fact
just
that-
fought for a good
Look
5
at the
minutes.
crazy in her eyes, though, when she says that.
And there's Hillary
Hey, can I ask
Schwank,
you a
according to.
Hillary Schwank.
She's
But
like-
this, to me, was pivotal because they explained why they were
call me
following.
Snowball?
I shouldn't talk
It's
over
a
it.
reference.
Well, that's going to help us so we don't
George
get
Orwell's
slapped with it.
This is why they were doing the Orwell comparison. When she realizes she didn't really know
But why am I
that story
Snowball?
well enough,
Yeah.
whereas Crystal did.
Snowball
Orwell
is
enough.
an idealist.
No.
He
And then
wants
she
to
even
make the
admitted
world a better
at the
place.
end,
That's why the other
You
pigs
got the wrong. Well, we're dying. You
make
can tell
up
me.
lies about him.
Yes.
But
turn him
am I
into the
really the
enemy.
Crystal May? No. You got the wrong
Well,
one.
that was when she was explaining
I
that
think you should
Snowball.
be
She goes, "I think
Snowball."
you're Snowball."
You read.
It's like, oh, I thought you liked.
She's like, you
is it
read
heroin
Orwell?
that was a snowman.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I
did.
did.
Yes,
I shouldn't be
ma'am.
talking while she's
No, you
talking.
should because I don't want to get slapped with a
Okay.
copyright.
But actually, this would be good to actually have had the
Ask you a
subtitles
question.
up, because then we actually could have.
We could
Talked over-
mouth
we
it
could've
for
done
us.
the
Maybe
characters.
there's got to be a way around.
Justice
I think Logan could have been Hillary Schwank.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on,
We're both
Schwank.
dead.
we're both
like-
dead.
Just tell me.
We
Well,
te-
you're gonna read it. We're
My
gonna
God.
listen to it, read it, and hear you say it.
No, ma'am.
But I'm speaking.
No, ma'am.
I'm
You did
speaking in
not.
English.
You did not.
What are they, German?
It's like shit.
They're not English.
See, this is my favorite. Whoops.
Whoops.
Yeah. Whoops.
There we
That
go.
was it.
Okay.
Okay. Back
so,
to us.
So, yeah, and that now after that, I think is when the scene comes up.
The
with
rabbit.
The rabbit.
I was kind of hoping
shows
that was
up.
part of that scene.
Now that made me wonder because she gets up after that, just like, all right, let me
Like nothing's
fucking-
wrong almost.
Let me,
Almost.
seal my wounds here with sear
with a
sear
blowtorch.
my wounds, yeah,
Yeah.
with a blowtorch,
Yep.
and then just move on with my merry life. That made me wonder. Then was she pretending there to just get information out of Hillary Swank?
No,
Or
I
Schwank,
think
as-
she
I don't
was.
think so.
I think she was really hurt. I think the difference is, like, she probably is special forces or a ranger or something. Where at the end of the day, it's I'm hurt, but I've been hurt before, and I just get up and
Yeah, keep
And,
moving.
keep
and
going
honestly,
forward.
seeing the rabbit in Spider, she's like,
Oh yeah, I can
"Fuck
get.
yeah,
I can do
I'm
this.
the rabbit.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna get
I'm
up
gonna win this."
because she ate the grilled cheese.
Yeah. That was awesome.
So
With-
she
with-
killed
with
the bitch
grilled
and ate her
cheese.
dinner.
Yes,
Gr-
which
Gruyere.
now I have to try
Gruyere.
Gruyere
Yeah,
with grilled
Gruyere.
cheese.
You've never
So
had
Gruyere.
Gruyere?
No, I've had Gruyere, but not on a grilled cheese.
Oh yeah.
sandwich.
Like
so now
my
that's
wife
something
will
to try.
mix it with cheddar. Cheddar and Gruyere is like
God.
it's all like ooey gooey.
I think I just came.
It's awesome.
Made my own cheese.
So-
Anyway,
So I did have I
Trivia.
little bit of
Trivia.
Okay.
Actually, it's not really. It's trivia more than a question. So, you saw it a couple of times. Obviously, especially in the fight scene at the end. The shipwreck champagne.
Yes.
Yes, that's the rarest champagne in existence.
Apparently, and you know what the name of the champagne is?
No, and that was pissing me off because I didn't.
No, I don't remember.
It's
Something ship-
Hyde Check.
Hide check. Yeah.
I checked.
Which is it's a real champagne. It's like
Yes.
Hyde Check, but also it's like Hyde Chic. Hide seek.
Hide and seek.
Hide and
Oh, but that was the
nice.
other movie.
That was the other movie.
Yeah.
But the point is,
But
it's still kind of.
Yeah. Well, but in
That's
essence,
a great
this is just
point
another
to make
version of.
about it referencing the previous movie we watched.
No, but it's still hide and seek because, like, any kind of hunt type movie
It was-
is you're trying to hide and the
and-
other people are trying to seek
And really,
you.
that's the reason we did these two movies back to back, and that's why we're doing finishing the bottle on those two movies. Was
Right.
mainly because of that.
So
you're
one
right.
other trivia piece, which it's funny. So everyone, it's in multiple places that the original title of the script before it was actually turned into a movie
Okay.
was Red State versus Blue State.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Now Universal, who put the movie out, like staunchly denies that that's the name of the movie, but they're like, people are like, well, yeah, maybe that was not the name by the time Universal got to see it, but the original name of
It
the
was a
script
working title.
was
Yeah.
Red State, Blue State. Okay, I have
Yeah,
one,
that was too blatant. I'm glad they changed it.
I have one piece of trivia.
Okay.
I didn't have a lot of trivia, and it's so funny. So now I'm reading.
Just you're about to do it. Now we get a tangent.
No,
Here we go.
Now I read my question, and I'm like, I don't remember this guy. Okay, but I'll ask the question anyway. See if
All right.
See if it makes sense. For
Yeah,
you
all
guys.
right. You won't have the answer, but we'll
What's
try.
the make of the TV that they have the druggy gang guy in?
The druggy gang guy in a TV. That was from Itchy
gonna say,
the
wait, is that Itchy the
That was from Itchy the Killer, you dumbass. That was a question
Are
from
we
like,
going back a couple weeks here? Holy cow!
That's why it didn't make any sense when I read it.
Holy shit!
And you asked it anyway.
Oh my god!
Wow!
I have,
Oh my
so I think the
God.
whistle pig is working.
That's hilarious.
I apologize, everyone.
Oh my god! It's That was actually, and I'm sitting there going, because there was the guy that was from Florida, and I'm thinking, was he in a TV and stuff? I'm like, fuck, and then I started going, no, wait, that's it. God damn it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we shoot way too many of these in a row.
Jesus
Got
Christ.
trivia
I
from
really do
last
apologize.
recording.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Okay, so
I apparently have no trivia at all.
okay, I've got trivia. So
Okay.
if you
Save me.
Did you
I
turn
am
on the air
saving
in
you.
this place? It's a little cold. It's a little hot.
God.
It might have
All right.
actually, it might have reset.
What was the name of the
Oh, that's
cigarettes that she
hilarious.
bought?
Oh my God, that's a great question, but I'm still laughing.
Was it NEC? Because
No.
that was the answer to my question.
I know it wasn't Marlboro or anything. That was
No,
some
it
real
was-
No.
weird
it was like-
off.
I think it was a made-up name. I've
Yeah,
never
it
heard
could
of
be.
them. It
What was it?
Ledford.
Lead.
Ledford.
Ledford.
It could have been Ladford, but there was blood on it. So,
Oh,
I know.
all right.
I am the
Damn.
comedy relief, by the way.
That was rather amusing.
thank you for that, by the way.
All right.
I
On the
almost hurt
front of the
myself.
store, at the front of the store, there was a nice little sign.
Yeah.
It did say Ma and Pa's was
Yep.
the name. What else did it say on there?
Oh God.
It was Ma and Pa's gas.
Nope. I'm not talking inside. I'm saying there was
The outside sign, the with the letter
With
blocks
the red
that they
arrow.
stick
A
in
red
there.
arrow
Yeah, the
pointing
Shop
arrow
of
sign.
death.
which finds you. It gives you
I know.
an understanding. Go ahead.
Gasoline and fried chicken.
No.
And the famous murder ride.
No. Jesus. It just said seek and find,
Did it really say seek and find?
Yeah. which kind of gives you an idea.
Kind of. That's blatant,
Yeah.
man.
Why
Holy
would you do
shit.
that?
They get
Well,
sought
let's face it.
and found.
They did kind of, they spent all that time to deck out a Ma and Pa Quickie Mart with a ton of food that was all poisoned,
Yeah.
Yes, I just think it's funny how when
just in
when,
case they ate some of it.
when the guy tries to drink the thing, no, not
Right,
that's
poison.
poison. So okay,
Like, no, it just has a
I'm
lot
gonna
of
do a slight
sugar.
tangent. I know we're over time, and you still
We're
have trivia.
way
No,
the
that's
fuck
fine.
over. I've got stumped too.
But I do. So do you think the fact that they reached the edge of the forest and there was a fence that they had to climb over?
Yeah.
Do you think that fence was put there purely so that they felt that when they were the other side of the fence, they were now
okay.
safe?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think so.
Yes, it was-
Absolutely.
it's
Otherwise,
all
what's
a
the point
ploy.
of even doing the gas station? The gas station was part of their game.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Because they
absolutely.
had to have, if they're supposedly so elite, they supposedly thought of everything, right? And
Right,
that's what I
right,
think they
right,
were
right.
kind of getting at is, oh well, if they do get over the fence, we need to be ready for that. And
But then why did all the main idiots stay in the foxhole?
in case came back, or in case there were others that were still on the field, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they were there
because
just in case.
well, it was. I think what
Or to
happened
bring
with
them
that
back.
was they drew them to that area because of the weapons. So some people probably took off after they were getting shot at, but then thought, well, my only survival is to go back to that center
Where the
box
weapons were.
to get the weapon and then try to defend myself. I mean, then you have whatever that guy was that ran towards them, going,
Yeah, double
kamikaze,
gunning it.
and you're just like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's dead. But that was my thought, was they were doing that purposely to like tempt them to stay in that area because shit, that's the only way I'm going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of took that. But let's see. Now this was part of that whole satire portion. On the TV in the Ma and Pa shop, a lot of this is geared towards Ma and Pa because there was not much going on prior to that. I could say, well, what kind of gun did Joe blow?
Right.
I'm
No,
not
I
gonna
get
go
you.
that
I
route.
get you.
On the TV, they were showing something. I'll let you ponder on what was on the TV. If you can get that, I'll give it to you. But there was also a saying on it, which I thought kind of poked fun at
Saying
things.
on the TV.
Yes, there was like it was a
Like on the
a
Chiron?
news. Yes, it was a news. What do you call that stream?
Oh yeah,
Chiron.
yeah.
What is it called?
Chiron.
Chiron?
What the fuck's a Chiron?
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
Chiron's the circling text.
Holy shit!
It's called a Chiron.
Really? All right, he taught us something
All
new
right.
today.
Okay.
Chiron.
You're just trying to save face from that last TV comment.
I am incredibly intelligent.
That's what we'll go with that for now. We'll hold on to that.
So on there,
put a
there
pin
was
in that.
there was something. I'll even give it to you partially. There was an animal.
Yeah.
Was it a pig?
No.
No. I remember it, but I don't remember it.
Okay.
Because I
As in
remember
the new
because
story?
Yes.
yeah, but it was a replay. It was taped. I mean, it was there, because when they reset for the next people at the
It was
Quickie
the
Mart,
same thing,
it
yeah.
was the same clip
Correct.
playing again.
And that's why they made a point to show it. So.
Right. And I don't remember what the clip was for. Tell us.
So it was WFX News, which I'm assuming was poking fun at Fox.
Sure.
I would imagine.
Because the line that it says on the screen is global warming findings on thin ice. So I feel like they were trying to add to the whole right.
Well, the Mon Pon, that's their big thing was people who are opposed to climate change or don't believe in climate change. That was their gimmick.
Yep.
Gimmick. That was their stance.
Right.
Everybody, all the elite lefts had some sort of trigger point, and that was theirs.
Well, and what caught my attention was when he said, "I own 7 guns," and she questioned that. I
Yeah.
was like,
Why do you have 7 guns?
Yeah, why do you need 7 guns?
yeah, I was like, okay, if they're from where they look like
Arkansas?
they're from, it doesn't make sense, and
Yeah.
then that's when things kind of started rolling in my head. But,
Yep.
but I mean, this was
I've got
this
a
was a
couple.
fun movie. I don't know what else we can really say
I've
about
got a
it. I've got one other trivia.
Okay.
Go on.
Oh, you got one?
It's okay. That's all I've been saying for the past 5 minutes, but that's cool.
We don't listen to you anyway. So.
I know. I don't
So I
listen
got
to
another.
myself.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm being a
Is
dick.
it related to the gang member that was inside the TV?
That I don't know why I'm asking
That
this
was
question
good.
because I don't remember what it's from. But let me ask this question that I don't remember what it's from.
At least I was honest with saying I didn't remember what it was from.
And then as soon as you said it, it clicked, and you're like, "Oh,
Oh,
fuck!"
yeah, that was a different movie.
When Crystal came out of the mom pa
Mm-hmm.
and saw the pickup truck that she was going to get in, she noticed the license plate was fake. She took it off. What was the license plate number under the Arkansas license plate?
Well, it was from Croatia.
Great start. Come on,
It
Logan.
was 1-2 ZA3
ZA3
G2.
G2.
very close. 12ZA4
It's 3.
G2.
I got the picture on my phone right now.
Yeah. Do you?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yeah, it's there. You go.
Okay.
Yeah.
You win.
Good try.
Next one is, don't look at my notes, you bitch.
I'm watching it on the.
There was a text sent to Athena early on in the movie. Remember when the whole texting thread was going on? And she was sent not an emoji. It was not a GIF either. It wasn't animated, I don't think. It was a picture.
Was it a squirrel humping a foot?
It
Or a pig humping a foot?
no. Logan?
Oh God, I know which scene you're talking about, and part of me was thinking that I should be paying attention to that.
It's more poetic and less disgustingly weird than you would think.
Was it after they said we don't? I thought we weren't going to discuss manner on text.
Yes, it was.
No, but
It
it
was-
was the whole start of the text was like, hey, I've got something to tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like
Correct.
We,
It was in that part.
But I thought
Correct.
I thought that was it was like something humping the.
Okay. The humping I'm not disputing. The animal is who I'm disputing.
Was it a pig?
It was not a pig.
Not a squirrel.
Was it a whistle?
Not a squirrel. Well, should we just go through the animal kingdom?
Just-
See
yeah.
if we can.
Was it a
As
tiger?
monkey. I have no idea. I don't know.
It was a turtle.
Oh, that's right,
Turtle.
humping the foot.
Because
Turtle, of
she
course.
was the turtle and Crystal was the rabbit.
Good call. I like that.
Good catch.
I like that.
Okay,
I'm
that's
not gonna
all
lie.
I
I'm a
had.
little hard from that.
That's all I had. We're like an hour and a half or some shit. Nobody's
I wanna
going to
throw
watch
one-
this.
I want to throw one good
Hour
one out
and
there.
17
Ah,
minutes.
that
Hour
wasn't a good
17.
one?
We've had like hour and 40 before.
Yeah, but nobody
Maybe if we
watches
go-
those either.
That is true. Big Game Shane
Yep.
was
yep.
one of the first characters to
Yep.
be killed off.
Yep. A rhino.
Do you remember what number he was?
Oh. 7.
13.
It was actually, you were very close. It was 8.
Oh.
And the only reason I know that was because when they were showing the different people
Yeah.
in that scene, there was a projector, and on the guy's face, if you look at his neck, the number 8 is on
Oh.
his neck. Now, you had mentioned earlier that how many people on
The wall was like
Athena's
6
wall,
or 9.
there was 11.
11,
There
yeah,
was
it was a
total of
small
11.
number.
So I don't know. Honestly, it felt like there was more.
Yeah, I'm sure there
so
was more.
that does
but
make you wonder if Dawn was truly part of it, even though she.
I
left
think that
into
was a
question.
ruse.
I think
I
that
think it
was
was a
a
ruse.
That totally
I think
was a
he
ruse.
was one of them. It's just that he started freaking out because he's been watching this chick kill people real
But
easily.
if that was a ruse, why didn't he? He had an opportunity. She gave him a gun. He was standing there.
because
could've shot him.
because he wasn't one of them. He was.
Oh, you think it was a
one of the
ruse
hunted.
for Athena?
Yeah.
Okay, not
I think
Dawn. Okay.
Athena was trying to say he was one of them,
Right.
but he wasn't. He
Yeah,
was one of
yeah.
the hunted.
Okay.
I totally agree. I mean, and
Otherwise, he could have killed her many times over.
And,
well,
and the
maybe
point
not,
is, it's
but
like I think it was actually a good plot point in the movie that you never actually found out
if he was, which
because
side
she-
he was on.
Because Crystal even asked her, and I can't remember what exactly her response was, but it was nondescript of like
She's the one that I think even said, like, well, is it because I made you? Well, she kind of said, I made you think that he may have been one of us. Like, she
But
left
then
it
she
open.
threw it over and like, was he?
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
he
yeah.
was.
I did love her last words of "whoops." It's like
That was classic.
Yeah.
That whole last scene was so. The fight was really long.
But it was believable. That's
it
what I
was totally
liked about
believable.
this
It was
movie was
good.
it was all believable.
I
It
would've bought
wasn't
into
like
it.
she somehow dodged bullets that were being shot at her from 5 feet away. It
Right.
was legitimately,
So-
blender blades to the stomach. And stuff.
So I know
Right.
we're almost at time.
Almost.
Almost, we're over
Okay,
time.
we're over time.
Like
But-
20
Closing
minutes over.
time.
But like, okay, and maybe we can just leave this to the finishing the bottle. Then it's fine. We can leave this question.
Or we
for
could split
finish
this
the
into two. Do 45 and
No,
45.
ain't
bottle.
no time.
We'll finish this now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you so much. Again, another movie that.
Microphone just keeps getting turned and
Sorry.
turned. There we go.
He's actually Italian. Just in the eyes.
Maybe actually what I need to do, I just need to hold my pole like this.
Oh, Jesus.
Should be like familiar.
It's a little bigger than you're used to, I'm sure. But
It's a little thinner.
Yeah.
But
It's not the size; it's what you do with it.
But anyway, as normal, if you enjoy this movie, this review, what is this?
This
is
review
the
of a movie.
This podcast.
Definitely like and subscribe. Tell all your friends about us, how cool we are and how amazing we are.
And if you don't have any friends, we'll be your friend.
we'll be your friend.
Come on by.
Your friend till the
Unless you're
end.
from India. No, we love Indian people as well.
Man, now you're just a demographic.
We're not
You're
going to
just
get
ruining-
anybody from India.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you have any suggestions on what you'd like us to review going forward,
Whether it's be a movie or an alcoholic beverage,
a alcoholic beverage, if you would like to supply us with an alcoholic beverage,
Please.
or a suggestion, as long
yeah.
as it's not super
if you'd like to
expensive.
supply us with an alcoholic beverage, and it has to be sealed. It's like we're not just going to drink something that you bring.
Goes without saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly. All right. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Anyway,
we love you. And
We love you.
Bye-bye.
Pause.
And go.
And